Hundreds of Israeli troops launched raids in several areas of the occupied West Bank on Wednesday, carrying out mass arrests, engaging in gun battles and killing at least 10 Palestinians. This is according to the Palestine Red Crescent Society. The Israel Defense Forces said counter-terrorism operations began overnight, focused on the northern West Bank areas of Jenin, Tulkarm and the Al-Farah refugee camp. It said that the operation was carried out in coordination with Israeli border police forces and the Internal Security Service, and it's in the first phases. But eyewitnesses described drones scanning the skies, bulldozers ramming through terrain, and armored personnel carriers on the streets as the IDF surrounded hospitals and set up checkpoints and went house to house actually making arrests. I must inform our viewers, as far as the context is concerned, well, Israel has built scores of settlements across the West Bank, which are home to over 5 lakh Jewish settlers, and they have Israeli citizenship, while the 3 million Palestinians in the West Bank live under Israeli military rule, with the Palestinian Authority exercising limited control over population centers. Well, to understand the larger ramifications, we have with us West Asia strategist Dr Waiel Awwad. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us as always. Now, Israel has launched this massive deadly assault on the West Bank. We're hearing it's the largest assault there in 20 years. So why and why now?
Thank you, Parmeshwar. Actually, as you have been stating, the actual focus now has shifted from Gaza to West Bank and East Jerusalem, the occupied territories under the Israeli army, because most of the Palestinians there have been subjugated to all kinds of atrocities, detentions, and the selective killing and by the attack by the drones of the besieged camps, Palestinian camps under the Israeli occupation. So I think now, because of the increasing tension in that region and where the resistance forces, the Israeli occupation has increased, an attack on the Israeli troops have also been increasing because of the provocative act by the settlers who have been attacking regularly and systematically the Palestinian homes and confiscating their cattle and also destroying their homes and expelling them in front of the world. I think this is the time where the Palestinians thought, who has stayed away from the war on Gaza and avoided an escalation with the Israeli troops, now they have no other option but to go and fight against Israel.
In fact, Israel's foreign minister said the goal was to, quote, dismantle Islamic Iranian terror infrastructures established there. Hamas, meanwhile, has called for followers to, quote, escalate all forms of resistance and confront the occupation and its settlers everywhere in their occupied land. So how bad are things as we speak? And do you think Israel's continued fight on multiple fronts is likely to continue?
I don't think it's a fight. It's a matter of annihilation of the whole Palestine. That is the main aim. And I think the whole world is focusing what's going on in Gaza war. But the fact of the matter is, if you remember, Parmeshwar, ever since the starting of the war on Gaza, there are more than 10,000 Palestinians in West Bank has been taken into prison by the Israelis. Yes. There are more than 300 people have been killed. More than 5,000 people have been injured. So the war on the Palestinian under occupation have not stopped. If you mentioned in your talk that there are 500,000 settlers. Where did these settlers come? In illegal settlers have been making the settlement inside the Palestinian occupied territory. So therefore, if you are only your objective is to occupy and expand the settlers into the occupied territories, then that is the only way of resisting the terrorist, the activity of the Israeli settlers. So that is what is their objective, is absolutely to expel the rest of the Palestinian from the East Jerusalem and also from West Bank. And also you noticed that a couple of days ago, a minister in the Israeli government saying that they are going to build a temple within the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is, what does it mean that? That means they are making it more into a religious war against the Islamic world, by destroying Al-Aqsa Mosque and also by building what is called the Israeli Solomon Temple. So that is the whole crux of the problem, because the continuation of this war will serve only Prime Minister Netanyahu in this war, and that is why expanding and shifting the focus into this region will only help him to stay more in power.
Absolutely. That is actually something that many analysts have also argued. In fact, some argue and believe that this attack in the West Bank has been spurred on, though, by right-wing politicians like Israel's Security Minister and Finance Minister, who have actually increasing power and increasing influence in Israeli society. Your thoughts, sir?
Yes, that is the whole objective of the right-wing government. I mean, this is the most extreme right-wing coalition government in the history of Israel. So therefore, I see more of destruction in this part of the world. Imagine there is 1 square kilometers, what is Jenin, is the Palestinian camp, is besieged by the sky, by the land, and continuation of the bombardment by the Israeli drones and attacking even the hospital. So what does it mean? You are provoking the Palestinian to go and revolt against occupation. And that is where we are seeing even the President Abbas cut short his visit to Saudi Arabia. He came back. Then you have also Jordan is coming very strongly against Israelis' action inside the West Bank, and the rest of the world is simply watching that Netanyahu is swimming in the blood of the Palestinians in Gaza.
Well, Dr. Awwad, thank you so much, as always, for joining us with your thoughts on the world 24/7. We will, of course, revert to you for regular updates. We also have with us Mohammed Ghazali at the moment for a live update. Ghazali, major Israeli raids across the West Bank. What details can you disclose at the moment?
We are also picking up that perhaps a proposed temporary ceasefire for the availability of polio medicines, or say the vaccination in Gaza, has been agreed upon, though Israel or the Hamas spokespersons have not confirmed it, but Western media is reporting about it, that due to the outbreak of polio in Gaza, perhaps for some days there will be ceasefire. And what experts are believing, that since that ceasefire will be implemented, or a temporary truce for a couple of days for the vaccination will be sort of done there in Gaza, that is why Israel has intensified its attack in West Bank. Israel claims that perhaps West Bank also had operatives of Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad who were planning to carry out attacks on Israel, and hence this preemptive operation to neutralize 10 people. But what the local media is reporting there, that out of the 10 people who have been killed, most of them are civilians, while Israel claims otherwise, that these civilians were also in combatant operations or were involved in militant activities. So these claims and counterclaims continue from the region, while Israel still is now attacking in West Bank. And mind you, West Bank is not governed by Hamas, but it is governed by Palestinian Authority led by Mahmoud Abbas, who has good relations with the Israeli government there. But as of now, it appears that the situation is still not very calm there. The situation is tense in West Bank as well as in Gaza.
Well, here's hoping things sincerely simmer. Thank you so much, Mohammed Ghazali, as always, for joining us with the latest update coming in.